So I welcome all our dear devotees for Bhagavad Gita class. We have discussed in 6.18 Yada viniyatam chittam atmani evavatishthathe nispriha sarva kamebhyo yukta ityuchyate tada. If somebody asks this question, in the previous slokas it has been described 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐎𝐑 ityadi, that by regulated actions, by regulated enjoyment, by regulated sleeping and regulated eating, and by the practice of yoga, a person destroys his miseries. Then when will that stage will be attained was described in 6.18, that when yada viniyatam chittan, when his mind is fully controlled, and atmani evavatisthate, it only rests in the pleasure of atma, or in simple sense it only takes pleasure in Krishna conscious activities. Nispriha sarva kamebhyo, when he is free from all desires for any kind of sense enjoyment, yukta iti uchyate tada, then that person is considered to be yogi. Repeat after me. We have discussed in the previous slokas, previous to this, that means in 17 and 16, that Lord has explained two things: a person who sleeps too much, a person who eats too much, a person has other things, like basically he is not regulated, cannot perform yoga. Then he explained in 17th shloka that a person who is yukta hara viharasya, a person is controlled, restrained in his eating, in his sleeping, in his recreation and his activities, that person can, by the performance of yoga, yogo bhavati dukkha, he can destroy his miseries. So then a person will ask the question, when will that stage of yoga be attained? So then there is no time definition, there is no time limit. But the point is, when it is attained, what experience you will have? Experience is that the chittam is vinisheshena niyatam, that the mind is very nicely controlled. It doesn't go for sense gratification. Atmani evavatisthate, and it only rests in the pleasure of the soul, which is serving Krishna. We are mapping it to bhakti, not just simply to atmagyan. Nispriha sarva kamebhyo, and he is free from all material desires, any kind, even an iota of material desires, iota very small. Yukta iti uchyate tada, then that person will be called a yoga, a person established in yoga. Yukta means a person established in yoga. Now to understand, to help us understand this siddhanta, the Lord is giving us an example in text number 19. Are you able to follow? How we will describe that yogi? Because a person may not be able to understand, but this is the example which is mentioned here to help us understand the situation of a proper yogi. Is it okay? Follow the link. Please chant. As you can see the word yatha, in the previous verse you have heard the word yada, means when, and yatha means just like. Whenever you give an example, you see, this has to be understood. Why examples are given? This is called drishtanta. Examples are given to illustrate or clearly elucidate is the word, elucidate, not establish. Examples don't establish anything. Example help us to understand something which is already established. Are you hearing it? By examples you can't establish something, but some siddhant which is already established, that is explained by the help of an example which is normally seen. When something which you can see, by that you can relate it. Okay? Let us see now what the Lord is saying. Yatha dipo nivatastho nengate sopama smrita yogino yata chittasya yunjato yogamatmanah yatha dipo nivatastho nengate sopama smrita yogino yata chittasya yunjato yogamatmanah. Double speed. यथा दीपो निवातस्थो नेंगते सोपमा स्मृता
यथा दीपो निवातस्थो नेंगते सोपमा स्मृता
योगिनो यत चित्तस्य युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः
योगिनो यत चित्तस्य युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः
फर्दर डबल यथा दीपो निवातस्थो नेंगते सोपमा स्मृता योगिनो यत चित्तस्य युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः
यथा दीपो निवातस्थो नेंगते सोपमा स्मृता योगिनो यत चित्तस्य युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः.
Good. Just chanting is so pleasing, ne? Okay. I know that. Oh, translation mistake हो गया क्या? Translation. Oh, okay. Anyways, translation. As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self. So, first understand the translation, then it will help you to understand Sanskrit. You see, all of you have done that. Every day you do that. You offer lamp to Krishna. Most of the devotees know they have offered their lamp of arati something. So, if there is some wind, the lamp's flame will waver. But you can do an experiment. Suppose in a room there is no air. Well, you can say no air means there is no movement of the air. Otherwise, you know that if there is no air, the lamp will not burn. I think that much physics everybody has understood. Without oxygen, the lamp will not burn. So when this says nivatasto, vat means vayu, nivat means without vayu, but without vayu, lamp will not burn. So here it means without a movement, without the movement of, without a moving air. Got it? So in a room where there is no movement of air, at that time the flame of the lamp will be very steady. Those who want to practice concentration, they do a practice which is called tratak. I don't know if some devotees are knowing it. And then they will be in a room where there is no air. No air means there is no movement of the air, and the lamp is very far off, so that it is not affected even by the movement of their breath. You know, like that. Just like you, on your birthday, you there is even no movement, but only movement of your whatever breath from your mouth. So the lamp's flame does not waver, not here, not there, not here, not there, like that. Then you can steadily do tratak. That's how it is there. That example is clearly understood to all the devotees. And why the example of flame is given? Because flame in general is very unsteady. A slight movement of air, see, seems to be very simple. A slight movement of air will dislodge the station or the position of the flame. Do you agree? I must tell you, I did not discuss like this in Hindi lecture. This is a very nice way of understanding it. Flame is highly unsteady. Do you accept this? Of a lamp. Yeah, it is not some gas is burning. Maybe there is some steadiness. But of a lamp, the flame is very, very unsteady. Agreeable to everyone? So to remain it steady is actually a difficult task. It's an accomplishment actually, in a sense. But nivatasto means when there is no movement of air. So think about it. The Lord had explained the previous slokas, nispriha sarva kamebhya. Got it? There is how our mind will move, or in which direction our mind moves. That depends what desire is surfacing in our mind. Do you agree? I am going very slow so that you can compare very easily. Mind is like a flame, very easy to disturb, and the mind goes, the flow will, the flame will go in the direction in which the wind is going in the room. Similarly, the mind will go in the direction where our vasana or our desires are there. So nispriha sarva kamebhyo is very clearly explained by this. So his mind is unwavering because there is no material desires. But This analogy has a limitation like any other analogy. If there is a room, there is no fan, there is no disturbance, then the flame is unsteady. But for a person, a yogi who's accomplished, even if there are sense objects outside, he won't be disturbed. Just to explain the point of non-disturbance. Any analogy cannot fully explain the point. Just to explain the point that just like the lamp is non-disturbing in the case of when there is no vayu. Okay.
Maybe in this case there is no wind of desires for him.
That's what I'm trying to say. There is no wind of desires. But even if sense objects are there, still there is no wind of desires. In his heart that doesn't come. I have a very strong example to explain from Srila Prabhupada's life, but I feel a little hesitant. Anyhow, I want to explain that. So I will tell that. There are two examples coming, but should I give? One time, Srila Prabhupada, he went to America, and somebody asked him that, what is so special about you? So Prabhupada said, even if you put me in a room full of naked women, many women, my mind won't be disturbed. I was like, wow. Second example, Prabhupada went to some place, some museum where there are very obscene pictures were there. Very, very bad. And also some, murtis, what do you call murtis? That? Whatever it was, we don't have to dwell about it. But and the sannyasis were also there, and they were trying to be sober. And Prabhupada very, very nonchalantly said, very beautiful. Very beautiful. Just nothing, you see. And Prabhupada, third example, Prabhupada says, he asked his disciples, you know why all of you are respecting me? All of them are bowing down before me. Why? You are pure devotees. Because I am free from sex desire. And that we have discussed in previous also. In second chapter, who's a person who's what is that? Pragya is pratishtita. Then the Lord explains that senses are so powerful. Haranti prasabhammana. A person who's desiring, endeavoring to control the mind, his mind is also forcibly captured by the senses. But a person who's actually pragya is pratisthit, he is not disturbed by any amount of sensory input. If you still don't understand the example of Nar Narayan, obviously his Lord himself is explained. Indra came with doing his Indra things, trying to entice Nar Narayan. But he just smiled. Woman? Okay. See how many women are there in my body? And Lord Narayan manifested so many beautiful women. So another example is Lord Krishna himself. Obviously he is not a yogi, he is Lord himself, but he is among so many gopis, so many queens, by whose charms even Lord Shiva was bewildered. But he was not Sheku, he was not bewildered. Although it is example of Lord, Lord is Lord himself. But the point is, there is no desire for sense gratification. Now it may all appear very impossible for us, but actually it is impossible to desire material desires. You know that? Did you get this? It is impossible for living entity to have such sense gratification. I will not say impossible to have sense desires, because we have, but actually it is impossible to gratify our senses. Lord has to make an impossible task a possibility, for which he creates avidya, by which we identify with the body, and then with so many things, and then we satisfy our senses. And we think that we are satisfying our senses, material senses. So when that whole point is cut, finished. Don't get disturbed. So if this stage is not attainable, why the Lord will tell? Now make it very simple for all of you. As we keep on practicing yoga, what is happening? The disease of the heart, avidya, is going away, by which something which is not pleasing is appearing to be pleasing. Agreed? Yes? And something which is pleasing is not appearing to be pleasing. Agreed? Krishna is 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐎 That is not pleasing to us. At least not to that extent. And beauty of this world is very pleasing to very, very pleasing. The eyes go again and again wants to go. That although we know that the object is not pleasing, is it not an illusion? Do you agree? So if that illusion is cut, then we see the reality. Nothing is attractive in this world. And only attraction is Krishna. I hope everything is understood. So why his mind remains steady? How his mind remains steady? Like a lamp in a windless place, where there is no movement of wind. So, and there is no movement of desires for sense gratification in his heart. Got it? Because of which the mind goes here and there. All this is finished. We must understand the impurity of mind is its chanchalata. Its is flickering nature. Don't say, my mind is flickering, that's why I won't chant Hare Krishna. You are taking that medicine of mantra, mananat trayate iti mantra, to cure the flickeringness of the mind. Does that make sense to you? Yeah, this is it. this is how mind preaches to us. Please look at the Anvay. Yatha nivatastha deepa. Nivatastha. Vat means air. Ni means without air. That means without the movement of the air. And stha means situated. Just like a deepa, a lamp which is situated in a windless place, as a lamp in a windless place, na ingate, does not flicker, does not go here and there. Atmanah yogam yunjataha, practicing meditation on the self, yatta chittasya yoginah, for a yogi of controlled mind. Yatta means controlling, who controls his. Chitta means mind. Sa upamaspritah, this comparison is given. So he says that, again look at the Sanskrit, yatha deepo nivasastho, just like a lamp which is situated in a windless place. Nengate so upamaspritah, this example is given, upma is given, that it doesn't waver. Yogino yatasya, a person, a yogi who has controlled his mind, yunjate yogam atmanah, he is considered to be, what is it? Situated in yoga. Okay. It's very simple. Mind will go where it gets taste. Simple. So this kind of yogi has attained the stage of relishing the bliss of Krishna consciousness. So that's why he's not interested. Got it? That's why Prabhupada was not affected by anything in this world. Gita Bhushan commentary. How do we describe that perfect yogi? Got it? You explained the Siddhanta. How you will describe the example is given. The flame, Sahadeepa, in a windless place does not flicker. Wow. But remains glowing. That part I did not focus. This is beautiful, is it not? Those knowledgeable of yoga consider, smrita means who know, that flame to be exactly similar to the meditating yogi. The word upma here stands for upamana, object of comparison. What it is similar to? It is similar to the yogi whose internal functions have been completely stopped. Yata chitta. Internal functions, you understand? Our antahakaran, our mind goes all over the places. Everything is stopped. It does not go to any other place. Who performs meditation or yogam on the Atma, on Krishna. This yogi whose knowledge has awakened, whose internal functions have ceased in relation to all objects except Atma, is similar to a motionless glowing flame. Did our devotees catch this point? Interesting point. Flame is not wavering. So that is compared to the mind not going to various material desires, because there are no material desires. And second point is the lamp is glowing, emanating light. Similarly, the yogi who is meditating on the Lord becomes illuminated in his heart about his relationship with Krishna. What is that? Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santah sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti. Beautiful point. Try to hear this. This will come in second canto. Amazing. Hear this. And after class you can try that. When the room is completely dark, we are afraid of objects which are not there, and we are unaware of the objects which are there. Are you with me? Beautiful, huh? This will come in second canto, the Chatushloki Bhagavad. We are, when there is absolute darkness, We are afraid of objects which are not there. Maybe snake, maybe a scorpion. Sometimes some soft thing, and you say maybe chipkali, maybe lizard. Has it happened? You know, something like that. Things which are not there, we are afraid. Just like there is no death for us, we are so much afraid of death. Is it not? And in the darkness, maybe we are just next to our mother or something, you know, who's very caring, but we are not aware. Has it happened to you ever that you were actually sleeping next to your mother as a small child and you were afraid in the darkness? Never happened. It can happen. Nahi ho raha sir. It can happen. It's absolute darkness and the child is afraid. Even though the mother is is just near to him. Are you able to follow this example? The Lord is right in our heart, but because of our darkness or ignorance of our relationship with the Lord, we are fearful of those things which actually do not exist. There is no death for the soul. There is no, how to say that? There is no, अपमान को क्या बोलेंगे English में? Not offense. There is no humiliation for the soul. How much we fear humiliation, how much we fear, please don't take offense, your soul, how much you fear losing a job. And now I understand. Yes, I fear losing the job more than death also. Is it or something like that? Something. So many fears are there for which have no connection with the Atma. And we are not aware that Lord is in our heart. Is it not, Maya? So now you understand why I give the example? Got it? As the spiritual knowledge becomes awakened, his mind is not wavering, and the purified mind is very much conscious. Through the purified mind, the living entity is very much conscious. He can see Krishna. Pashyanti atmani chatmanam bhakti ashrita grahitaya. He directly sees the Lord in the heart. He directly experiences the bliss of Krishna consciousness. Make sense to you? His consciousness, Hindi में कहेंगे चमक गई. His consciousness is illuminated. What is, when we let us jump to 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita? What is that? तेषामेवानुकं पार्थम अहम अज्ञानजं तमः नाशाम्यात्मि भावस्तो ज्ञान दीपेन भास्वतः. Krishna is being situated in the heart of the devotee who relishes his messages. He destroys all the ignorance and he illuminates the heart like the lamp. And this lamp does not waver. Does not waver. Once that is ignited, it never wavers. What is that we sing in Hindi? अज्ञान के अंधेरे से हमें ज्ञान के उजाले की ओर ले चलो. Have you heard this? You take us from this ignorance, of darkness of ignorance, you please take us to the brightness of light. Like that, something that we sing like that. Very nice. But it means being very in the light of our relationship with the Lord. Once that is done, everything is pale. Again, I'll remind you, if a person gets a scent of love of God, just a scent, jari agi age trin tulya chari purusharth, nothing in this world can attract his mind. Is it clear now? Just a scent of love of God. We have, if we have material desires, we have to be a little bit on the ground. We are not having even a scent of love of God. So if we get even a scent, I have explained so many times, we get a little bit taste for chanting someday, and say, why I'm not getting it every day, and I can pay any price to get this. Just a little bit taste, and see, हरि नाम की आनंदे डूबले जे ना जाए नामेर डे जे डूबे छे जे जे ने छे. It's a very nice song. Only a person who has actually immersed himself in the taste of the holy name can actually know it. They can't just discuss about it. And who only just immerses himself, he knows that. And this is it's a very nice song. Rupa Goswami, he left everything. You understand, man? He was not lamenting, oh, I was a prime minister, I left all this. No. Like that. Are you got it? Getting it? No desire. Nispriha sarva kamebhya. Okay. I think you understood the whole point. Let us now read the purport. A truly A truly Krishna conscious person, always absorbed in transcendence, in constant undisturbed meditation on his supreme worshipable Lord, is as steady as a lamp in a windless place. Simple. So Prabhupada puts it indirectly in a Krishna conscious way. As we have heard in Amrish Maharaj, I did not explain this nicely. Amrish Maharaj, who was the ruler of the whole world, he had a very beautiful and very nice devotee wife and kids also. And everything in the world basically. And what did he consider? They are nothing. They are just like a dream. And so he was a king, but he was not attracted to anything in this world except service to Krishna. If you read 9th canto, it's very amazing. One last point I will also say. Who is the highest devotee? Highest devotee, as Prabhupada explains, is explained in Bhagavatam. If it is offered to him, you please forget Krishna for half of a second, and we will give you opulence of the 3 worlds. He won't bargain for that. And so we have to go a long way. Please don't take offense, but we make a plan to forget Krishna at least 8-9 hours in a थोड़ा समय तो भूल जाएं कृष्ण को बहुत स्मरण कर लिया. We have learned it, we have remembered too much. Let us now forget him for 8 hours. After that again we'll remember. We are sadhakas. What to do? Now can you explain why he is like that? Ram Krishna Prabhu, explain why he cannot do this bargain. This will give answer to all that what Prabhupada is telling.
Because he is getting so much taste.
Simple. Because he gets so much taste in that remembrance of Krishna. And why he is getting that? Why? Now tell me why he is getting that?
Why he is getting the taste?
Yes.
Because he is serving.
Yes, because he is free from material desires and because he has love of Lord. So when you have love for Lord, any devotional service you do, it gives you unlimited happiness. So what you are going to get by getting all the 3 worlds? Speak in the mic.
Bhagavad Maharaj said like it's a comparison of tasting nectar and tasting stool.
Tasting nectar and tasting stool. Yes, that who will bargain? A stool of the 3 worlds. It's actually a fact. I give now another example is coming. We have a system here in Vrindavan where there are people who bring us a big lorry and they collect all the garbage. I never complain. Hey, chor, thief, he's taking away our garbage. We are never attached to all those things. Do you agree? You have some people coming to collect garbage from your home. Do you feel any loss of garbage? No. Like that. So this is the taste of Krishna consciousness. I will stop here, but this explains the situation of a yogi. Are there any questions or comments? It's a matrix. Oh, don't watch movies. Okay. So it means I must have also watched. Yeah, I have seen. Actually, I have to admit that I was not a devotee. Again, that is also Mayavad. Yes. It's complete Mayavad. It is interesting. You are that one. You have forgotten it and they help you realize. Stupid. They are in Maya. They make a movie and they are in Maya because they are Mayavadis. There also the philosophy is Mayavad only. Okay. And the question is, when will this happen? Oh, the same question. When will this happen? When it will happen, you will know. Okay. Just to encourage devotees. Do you really desire to drink tea? No. So at least one desire has gone. At least one, and many desires have gone up. So like this, by chanting Hare Krishna, Prabhupada says that here this is very encouraging. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in 5th canto says there is no sakam devotee. There is no devotee with material desires, because as you keep on practicing bhakti will never stop. Everyone will get purified. Beautiful statement, is it not? You please, this will help us to appreciate all devotees who are with any motivation, they are at least sincerely chanting Hare Krishna, we should appreciate. Any kind of desires will all become very faint, pale. Pale is the word. No, not satisfying. Anything else? Any comments? And gopis are praying that Krishna goes away from our mind. Yeah, this is also interesting, very interesting point. Yogis are trying to bring Krishna in their mind. The yogi Krishna does not come. And gopis are also doing Ashtanga yoga. Not Ashtanga yoga, but trying to do Hatha yoga so that Krishna may go away from the heart and they can do some household work. It's interesting. Yes, this is called Raga Bhakti. Okay. So we'll stop here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Thank you.